Hi Ma. So in this session we are dealing with a game theory. So definitely you can expect a good score from this topic. In the last two attempts you got 7 plus marks from this topic. So it's most important. So the video covers entire topic of game theory, and from exam point of view whatever problems are required even that are also solved here. Okay. First let us go with the concept. Sir, in the game theory, in the word game theory, sorry, in the word game theory, what is meant by game? You are having the knowledge of games, cricket, football, badminton, tennis, ludo, these games are there. No? Regarding that game, what should be the strategy? That is the main motto of entire topic. Okay, regarding strategy to be played there, it is being discussed in this topic. Okay, let us go with one by one. Now, what is a game theory, ma? Game theory may be defined as a type of decision-making situation when two or more intelligent and rational opponents. What are those guys, sir? Two or more intelligent and rational guys are involved under conditions of conflict and competition. Sir, what is the use of game theory for us? We are not required to discuss regarding the games in the studies and all, because even the business is a game. When you are doing a business, you are having a competitor with whom you have to interact regularly through sales. The interaction is nothing but tough competition between you and the other guy. Okay, sir. The regarding decision, it is a type of decision theory in which one's choice of action is determined after taking into account all possible alternatives available to the opponent participating in the game. Sir, while participating in chess, we make a move based on our opponent movements. What he will make him, what step he can take. We make some sort of assessment and we make some sort of steps. Is it clear? We will never go in a blind way. We'll think of the other strategies, what they can do. Okay, even in the case of cricket also, what is the order of the players? They are being coming there and all. Based on that, our bowling also will be changing. Okay, so even the case of boxing, what about the other guy, opponent? What are his strengths? What are his weaknesses and all? We make some sort of assessment, and based on that assessment, we move on a strategy. Okay. Next, game theory does not insist on how the game should be played, but tells about procedure and principles by which the action should be taken. So it will never deal regarding the process and all. Basically, how the game should be played. That is not. What should be the strategy? How the strategy should be framed. Okay. Now, game meaning, it is not required at all, but for your understanding, a game is defined as an activity between two or more participants. The participants can be cricket players, football players, and even companies who are competitors in the real market. Okay. Now, so the best example, sir, when Mahindra wants to increase its share, automatically what is the effect, ma'am? They'll use some sort of advertisement and they make some sort of assessment of their competitor. Their competitor, for example, it is Tata. Okay, so they make some sort of assessments. Okay, what Tata is doing there? What are their strategies? What should be our strategy? They make some sort of assessment and they do the business. Okay, and next, even the case of tire companies also same. Okay, now companies wants to maintain market share in the competitive environment. So what are strategies? Reducing selling price or reducing. So based on these things, they play the game. Okay, now, so the most important aspect is that terminology is the most important aspect in the case of game theory. First, who are players? That is nothing but participants. And what is the play? Play of a game occurs when each player has chosen a course of action. So he's not remaining silent, he's doing something. Then they will be starting of play. Two persons. Normally, in the case of basically, two person does not mean only two individuals. It can be two teams also. Okay. Next, n person game. Here, the number of players, if there are more than two, then it is n person game. What is an example, sir? Ludo is the best example for n person games. Okay. And next, zero sum game. What is this, sir? If a player is winning, the other player is losing. What the value I'm gaining is nothing but what is the value lost by the other player. Even in the case of companies also, what market share I'm gaining is lost by the other competitor. Then this will be offset now. That is, sum of the gain and losses will be zero. Okay. Next, two persons zero sum game. What is this, sir? Only two persons are participating and the resultant is zero. What is this, sir? For example, the two players are Samsung and Apple. In this case, the market share of Apple have got increased. Then automatically whose share will come down? Samsung share will come down. Same vice versa. Okay. The other name for this is rectangular game. So they may ask in MCQs, be careful with this part. So for example, there are 100 customers. Apple has 60 customers and Samsung has 40 customers. Now they have implemented some marketing strategies. Because of those marketing strategies, that is nothing but advertisement, the number of customers of Apple got down and the customers of Samsung got increased because of drastic marketing made by the Samsung. So whatever loss 20, the same is gained by the Samsung. No? This is nothing but offset basically. Now, so given by one will be almost equal to the gain by one will be almost equal to the loss by the other guy. Now n persons zero sum game. What is this? A game with a zero sums and n participants. So these terms are important. Next, non-zero game. In this case, the sum will never be equal to zero. Okay, sum whatever I'm gaining will not be equal to whatever you are losing. Then it is non-zero sum game. Okay, next, it is not required, sir. And mainly the strategies are important. In the case of strategies, predetermined rule, sir. In the case of SM, you might have gone at CMA inter-level, you might have gone to strategy, that is the gameplay. Okay, a strategy is nothing but in the war it is used to play against the against the enemies. Okay. Okay. Now, so this strategy is also being used in the market where there can be more than two participants and one has good strategy and other is having other strategy. So think always from your point of view. When you are in the market, what is your main motive? To gain, maximize the gain. Your main motive is to maximize the gain or minimize the gain. Maximize the gain. Okay. And for this, the strategies are bifurcated to categories. One is pure strategy and other is mixed strategy. What is the first strategy? Pure strategy and other is mixed strategy. Sir, when we can tell that the implementation of pure strategy? Mainly, we implement pure strategy when we know exactly what the competitor is going to do. So what is the course of action taken by the competitor is clear-cutly known to us. Then when we know the strategy, we automatically take corrective action or proper strategy. And it is a deterministic situation. We exactly determine what he is going to do. Okay. Next, maximize the gain. Our main motive is to maximize the gain and advance decisions. So we know the strategy will be implemented by him now. So in advance, we take a strategy. Is it clear now? What about other, sir? Mixed strategy. Sir, here we do not know exactly what the competitor is going to do. Then we are using what? We are using probability. We use probability and make some sort of things. Okay. So we are making just a guessing work and it is based on probabilistic. And here what is the point? Maximize the expected gain. What is this, sir? There we know the exact gain. Here we are making probability, so we get expected gain. Okay. And what are the available course of actions? We apply probability and we calculate. Okay. It is also selection of pure strategy, but not exact one pure strategy. We are applying more than one strategy. Okay. If it is clear. Next, what is payoff? Payoff is nothing but outcome. What is the revenue? What is the contribution? What is the turnover? From that we form it in the form of matrix, then we get it. Okay. Sorry. So outcome of the play. Outcome of the play or game. Nothing but this, that payoff. It can be increase in the profit or increase in the market share or net gain in the course of action or strategy. Okay. Playoff matrix. That is most important. Nothing but tabular representation of showing of outcomes or payoffs corresponding to different strategies of participating player. Sir, what is the course of action the player is having? Those two parts, like for example, maximizing player point of view and minimizing loss player point of view, we represent entire data in the form of tabular format. Okay, what are the rules, sir? Basically, the rules of playoff matrix are these are most important. They will never change, sir. If they are not giving any proper strategy and all or proper notation or denotion, you take these things, you follow them. So rows is mainly regarding what? Maximizing revenue. And for to avoid confusion, you take if a player's name are not given or if names are given but in a bigger size and all, go with the player A. You give the basic note point that, sir, for the sake of convenience, we are taking these values, that is maximizing player point of view as A and minimizing loss player point of view as B. You can take it. Okay. Columns. What is the columns? Minimizing player. So who will be opting this part? Sir, rows will be opted by maximizing player and columns will be opted by minimizing player. And sir, when you represent in the form of table format, these are some values. Okay, that are the payoffs. Okay, next. For a two-person zero-sum game, what is the sum of payoffs of two players? It will be ultimately zero. The net effect will be zero. No? Okay. Positive payoffs denotes that gain to the maximum player, that is, and loss to minimum player of the firm. Okay. Basically the positive that we shall see basically. So advertisement, without advertisement we have gone into market. Okay, then we have gained 50 crores and automatically other player will lose. That is the point. Next, What about optimal strategy? What is the course of action which puts the player into most preferred position? So even in the case of economic order quantity, it is the most optimal ordering quantity. No? In the same way, this strategy is optimal strategy will always keep you into what more preferred position. And what is the value of game? That is net. By implementing a strategy, what are you gaining? That is the value of the game. Am I clear, ma? If it is clear, we shall go to the point. Okay. So now the value of game will never be equal to 0. Then it is unfair. If the value of game is equal to 0, what other guy is gaining, you are losing. That's the point. Okay. So first most important strategy, what is that? Pure strategy game with a saddle point. What is that? Saddle point, pure strategy game. So here basically it will be given in the form of matrix, and we write the letters, that is A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, 3. And here A basically what is the rule of A? A player having maximizing player, and B is minimizing player. So A1, A2, A3 are strategies of A player, B1, B2 are the strategies of B player. Okay. Now let us solve a problem, then you can get more clarity. This, sir, when you want to go with the practice and all, sir, this problem I solved basically. How I solved and all we shall mention next now itself. So these are the rules for calculation of a pure strategy point. Okay, how to calculate that, sir? See, what is the first point, sir? They uses maxi, mini, and mini max criteria. What is this, sir? Maximizing player strategies are shown in rows. That is common. This I will give information at the end. Okay, and minimizing player. What is his main motive? He is to minimize the losses, and he is using what column part. Okay, and maximizing players arrives at optimal strategy. Then what maxi mini criteria. Okay, and minimizing player arrives at optimal strategy when it is mini max criteria. If both the values are equal, then we reach the saddle point. If they are not equal, then how to go for a mixed strategy. Okay. So now, first, what is the first step, The very first important step is that find minimum values of row in a payoff matrix. So for a pure strategy, the very basic step is that you have to represent the matrix on the table format, and you have to represent the maximizing player and minimizing player. And minimizing player is nothing but minimizing loss, and maximizing player is maximizing gain. That is the main point. First, what have to, for rows, we have to find the minimum values. Okay, of the minimum values, find the maximum value. Okay, it's minimum possible gain. What is that, whatever minimum values you are finding for rows, because they are with the maximizing players and all, no? So that is the minimum gain. Okay, from that you identify the maximum value. This is known as what, maxi mini. Okay, and what about mini max, sir? Sir, same way, this max mini is applied for rows, mini max is applied for columns. From the columns, identify the highest number. See, find a maximum possible value of column of each column of matrix. Okay, it's maximum. It is maximum possible gain. Okay, mini max value is the minimum value of maximum values. Minimum value of maximum values. Let us go with the problem. That will be more clear. So saddle point, when we reach saddle points are both max mini and mini max if are equal, then we reach a saddle point, and this whatever there we are getting, that value will be the optimal strategy point. Okay, next. So let us go with the pure strategy for this. This is for example. Let us go with this problem. Okay, so how to find the pure strategy in the case of problem? Okay, shall we? If you are ready, we shall. So first, basically, they will give a matrix. We represent a matrix in the table format, and here the basic rule is that these are B1, B2, A1, A2, and rows are representing what, maximizing gain. What is the main motive, maximizing gain. Okay, and what about our column part, minimizing loss. So you should write perfectly, but for our sake, I'm writing in a simple manner. So now what we should do, sir? In the case of pure strategy, we need to find the least value of rows first. Sir, in this case, what are the least values of this? In the 5, 10, what is the least value? The value is 5. Okay. And in the case of row 2, what is the least value? 4. Clear? Now, what about next one? The next step is that we need to identify the highest value of a column. So these are the columns we are having now. Identify the highest from these columns. So from the first one, what is the highest value? It's 5. From the second column, that is B2, what is the highest value? 10. Okay. Now we are identifying the, for rows, what we identified? We identified the minimum values. For columns, we identified by the maximum values. Sir, minimum, what is the gain he is getting? Okay. And maximum, what is the loss he is getting? So B1, what is a maximum loss? What is a B2? What is a maximum loss? Maximum. Okay. This loss is for sure, pakka it will be arising. And this gain is a minimum gain, for sure we can get. And the basic principle is that losses will be maximum taken, observed, because maximum loss we have to face it now. And gain, minimum only taken there. That's the point. From these two values takes the maximum value. What is the point now? From these two values we are taking maximum value. Next, sir, from these two values, take the minimum value. What is the minimum value of 5? Okay, so is it done, ma'am? If it is clear to you, I'm explaining again step by step. Listen carefully. So basically, we are representing the matrix in a neat and tidy manner. This is a manner of representation. This is most important. Next, what we should do, sir? We have to find the difference or least value. We have to find the least value. Okay, so we have to find the least value. This is the least value for this, and this is the least value for this. And here, what you are finding, ma? Highest values. From the column point of view, we are finding the highest value, maximum loss. And from here, maximum loss. From these two, we have to identify what maximum value. From these two, we have to identify minimum value. Okay, this maximum value is known as maximum value from minimum value. So maxi min, maxi min, and this is known as what minimax. So from the minimum values, we are identifying the maximum value. Okay, am I clear? Am I clear, ma? Sir, what is maximum, sir? From these two values, these are the minimum values, the minimum gains. From this, I am taking the maximum value. So that value is known as what, ma? Maximum. Okay. And from these values, these are what, ma? These are the highest values, maximum values. From that, I am identifying minimum. So this will be minimax. Am I clear? If I'm clear, fine. Let us go to the next step, sir. Identified. These are the maximum. These are minimum gains. These are the minimum gains now, and these are the maximum gains or maximum losses basically. Okay, and now, sir, minimax is equal to minimax is nothing but minimum value among the maximum values. Okay, the player in the row will with all the possible gains is 5, 4. Okay, choose among all the possible worst gains basically. Okay, and maximum, what is this, sir? Maximum among minimum values. Okay, for example, so sorry, this has been written properly. So what I said is fine, that you follow. Okay, here we got the values. So when we got the values, think is that the most point is that if minimax is equal to maximini, then we reach to the saddle point. Is it getting equalized? Yes, it is getting equalized. So now the value will be the value 5, and the strategy will be B1 and A1. That is the point there now. So that is the A1, B1. Is it clear, ma, till now? If it is clear, sir, one more important thing is that we need to find, we have to calculate minimax and maximini. Sir, but however, what is most important, ma? Gain. What is the main point? Sir, always gain. We should expect less. What about loss, ma? Loss should be expected more. Prudence concept is known. Whatever losses we recognize now itself, gains will not be recognized. So in the same way, we are recognizing lesser gain, basically. Okay. And here, what is most important, ma? Sir, maximizing gain are represented in the form of this rows. What about minimizing gain, ma? This way. Either it is minimizing gain or minimizing loss, basically. Maximum, go with the minimizing loss is the best. So maximizing gain and minimizing loss. So minimizing loss is nothing but this part, column part. Okay. If I'm clear, we have done this part also. Till here we are done. Now, next. So if minimax is equal to maximini, what is the situation, ma? We reach the saddle point. Then our answer is 10. So here we reach the saddle point, ma, both are equal. Now what is the point, ma? Sir, here we got a 5. 5 is here. This is the value of the strategy, value of the problem, value of the game and all. And here, what is the strategy we are having? Sir, the strategy is A1, B1. That is the most important aspect. See my points. Okay. Select minimum among the rows and select maximum value among them. That is maximum. What about next one, ma? Select maximum value among the columns and select minimum value among the those parts. That is minimax. and there we reach the saddle point. That will be strategy, and strategy is A1 B1, and saddle point is not reached. What we should do is here, then we are having a point called mixed strategies. In the mixed strategies, we are having different method. One is odds method, other one is dominance rule, and third one is a graph method. These three are most important. Okay, so pure strategy, what is the basic point, mom? The case of pure strategy, what we should find for the rows, what is the least number? We write there. And for the columns, what is the highest number? We write there. From the rows minimum numbers, we identify the maximum number, that is known as maximin. And from the columns, we identify the minimum number. We identified those maximum values. Now among them, we identify mini. This was minimax. If minimax is equal to maximini, then we reach to the saddle point. Okay. So now, so normally in the case of mixed strategies, what is the point of things? Okay. So problem of the game without saddle point. When we are not reaching the saddle point in the previous strategy, that is pure strategy and all, then we go with these points. Okay, we use various strategies with a certain probabilities. We mainly calculate here probabilities. Probabilities are most important. Okay, next we need to find out the probabilities of various strategies expected value with the form. Once the probability calculation is done, we calculate the expected value also there. Okay, the methods for normally methods for mixed strategy and all three methods: odds method or arithmetic method. Okay, dominance rule. Okay, and next graphical method. So odds method basically used when the matrix is 2 by 2 matrix. That is the most important aspect. Okay, when the matrix is 2 by 2, only then we are using what odds method. That is the most important key aspect. So next, so dominance method basically when it is m by n matrix, that is more than 2 and more than, so number of rows are more than 2 and number of columns are more than 2, then we use this dominance method. Okay, so graphical method, the representation is either 2 by n or m by 2. At least we are having 2 rows is thing fixed. Other can be more, that is 2 by 3, it can be 2 by 3 or 3 by 2. In this case, we use a graphical method basically. Okay, now let us go with odds method. What are the basic rules? So in the case of odds method, this is a process. How the problem should be solved, I mentioned the process. If you want, I will share this PDF. You can see the PDF and you can get a clarity. And also we solve all the problems in a proper order. First we have gone through odds method, then dominance rule, and at the end I am discussing the graphical method for two problems. Okay, so first, what is the basic rule, 2 by 2 matrix. Next, what is next point, sir? These steps and all, you will get more clarity when we solve a problem. Let us solve a problem first. This and all not required. Let us go with the problem first. Even this is not required because this, let us solve this problem. What is the problem? Solve the game of the payoff matrix. And here, what is the given there? He gave matrix 1 by 5, 4, 2. Okay. Now, first thing is that whenever a problem is given, basically what we should do, sir, first try to whether it is when we going to a saddle point or not. If then go with the odd matrix, that is odds matrix and all. Okay, shall we do it once? Sir, in this case, when you are going to the problem game, so the question will be normally in this way: solve the game with a payoff matrix. Payoff matrix is nothing but what is the result we are getting. So this is the basic matrix given there. Sir, what is the first thing? Sir, when we are going with a problem, first thing, let us go with a saddle point. If the saddle point is reached, then answer is done. If the saddle point is not reached, then we go for mixed strategies. If it is 2 by 2 matrix, we can apply odds method. If it is not 2 by 2 matrix and all, we go with the dominance rule. And at the end, it is when it is 2 by n or m by 2, then we go with the graphical method. So now let us apply the first minimax or max model. What is the point, sir? So basically, when a problem is given, try to represent in a proper manner. If the letters are not given, you take with the assumption. This is A point and this is a B point, and here maximizing gain, and here it is minimizing loss. Okay, and this will be A1, A2, B1, and B2. This will be the strategies. So I represent the same in the form of problem. So this is a part. Now what we should do, sir? How to solve that? Sir, basically when the problem is given, so the basic important thing is that, sir, you need to find the least values of rows. Sir, what is the least value there, The least value is 1. And here the least value is 2. And here the highest value is 5, highest value is 4. And from these two, we have to identify highest value. And from these two, we have to identify the least value. Am I clear? See the point. So now, so what is first step, Select minimum among the rows and maximum among the values among them. Sir, we identify the minimum values from this 1 and 2. From these two, select the maximum, that is 2. This 2 is known as what, ma? Maximum. And what about next, sir? Select maximum among the columns. From the columns part, from this select the maximum 4 and 5. From this select least, that is 4. This is known as what, ma? Minimax. Clear? If it is clear, and if they are equal, then we reach the saddle point, and that will be the strategy there. But it depends. Let us see the first part. So here we have drafted that. So 1 and 2, what is the maximum? 2 value. And in the case of 4 and 5, what is the maximum value? Minimum value? 4. Are they equal? They are not equal. So saddle point is not reached here. In this case, what we should do, sir? Basically, when the saddle point is not reached, in the case of pure strategy, we apply mixed strategies. And that too, there are 3 methods. What are those 3 methods? Odds method, dominance rule, graphical method. Odds method is applied only when the matrix is 2 by 2. Okay. So now, as the saddle point is not reached, we shall go with that part. So now, what is the basic step of a odds matrix and all? So I will discuss every part here itself. Then you can get a clarity. Then I will present in stepwise so that you can get clarity. And one more thing, I will share this entire PDF. If you follow this PDF, game theory will be like a cakewalk. Okay, shall we? Yes, sir. So first here, what we should do, sir? From the row, first row, you need to find the difference. What is the difference, between these two? The difference is 4, right here. Okay, and the second row, what is the difference, 2, right here. Then with the row difference, next column. Sir, in the case of these two, this column, what is the difference, 3, right at the next row, next column. Okay, and here what is the difference, 3. So right here. Am I clear? This is the most important step. I'm repeating again. So what we should do, sir? We should find the difference between these two of a first row and right here, and find the difference between these two and right here. And in the same way, what is the difference between these two right here, and what is the difference between these two right here? That is the point. If that part is done, entire basic fundamental part is done. Now what we should do, sir? We have to calculate the probability for each strategy. So for this strategy, and for this strategy, totally 4 strategies are there now. There we need to calculate what, probability value. How to calculate probability value, sir? The probability value is very simple, 2 plus 2 by 4. Whatever this values we got now, that we are calculating as a probability. And now, what is the probability of P of A2? 4 by 2 plus 4. These are the probabilities for what, These are the probabilities for A1, and this is the probability for A2. If we see the sum of the probability, it should be equal to 1. Okay. So am I clear how to calculate that one? Sorry, what happened? We are done here. Done this part. Okay, sorry. Now when it happens, I'm extremely sorry. Okay. So done with this part now. So let us go step by step, then you will get clarity. What is the first step? Odds method can be applied only if and only if what, it is what is type of matrix? 2 by 2 matrix. Okay. Find the difference between the first row and mention it in the second row part. And what about next one, sir? Find the difference in the second row and mention the first row part there. What I mentioned there now. Next, do the same process for columns also. That is nothing but what, find the difference between the first column and mention the second column. And the same way, find the difference between the second column and mention the first column. Sir, one more thing, whenever there are different signs, find the value, take it as minus. Okay. For example, if it is given as minus 5. Now, what is the difference between those two values? Minus 6. Am I right? Minus 6. Just write 6 there. That is important. Okay. So you may not be aware of this point. That is most important. Okay. Now let us go step by step. Done. Okay. Now, sir, I found what is the difference, between these two values? What is the difference, sir? 4. I have mentioned here. And between these two values, what is the difference, It is 2. I mentioned here. What is the difference between these two values? 3. I mentioned here, and here it's mentioned. Now, how to calculate probability, sir? Probability is very easy. Basically, the probability, I'm repeating again because probability is most important. For this point, the probability is 2 by 2 plus 4. Whatever you values you got, you are mentioned in the denominator. Numerator and denominator is not, this is numerator and this is denominator. Now, what is the probability for A2 strategy? That is nothing but 4 by 2 plus 4. Now, for this, 3 by 3 plus 3 and 3 by 3 plus 3. This is the probability calculation. If it is clear, very fine. The same thing is mentioned here, probability case. So probability calculation is required, and that is also should be mentioned at the end of the answer. Okay, basically, when the probability is done, how to calculate the value, sir? I'm right straight away mentioning the probabilities here. This is 2 by 6 and it is 4 by 6. That is nothing but 1 by 3 and here 2 by 3. You can simplify it if you want. Now the value is nothing but, so just multiply this value with this plus this value with this. You get the value of the game. Am I clear? So if I'm clear, I'm writing this one 1 by 3, 2 by 3. And here can either simplify or you can go with the straight that one. Then the value will be 1 into 1 by 3 plus 4 into 2 by 3. This is the value of the game. In the case of odd strategy, what is the basic point, ma? First we need to find what, ma? First we need to find the probabilities. And most important thing is that when a problem is given and try to check the saddle point. If the saddle point is reached, fine. If the saddle point is not reached, then we apply mixed strategies. And the first strategy is odd rule. In the odds rule, the thing is that the matrix should be 2 by 2 order. That is, a number of rows and number of columns should be 2 by 2. Okay. Then we can calculate the probabilities and then apply. Okay. So this I can clarify you by saying the steps which I mentioned earlier. Now I'll show the steps there. That will be fine for you. See, this will give you the clarity. So that is clear. But this is a pattern of how to calculate and all. Sir, here these are A1 and A2. What is the difference between those two values, ma? A1 minus A2. It is mentioned here. You need not go with the signature sign. Whether it is sign minus or not, keep it aside. And B1 minus B2 is mentioned here, ma. Clear? Next. A1 minus B1 is mentioned here. Am I clear? A2 minus B2 is mentioned here. Superb now. Is it clear, ma? If it is clear, then what is the next point, sir? How to calculate the probability? Sir, this divided by the sum of these two values. This value divided by the sum of these two values will be the probability for I1 strategy. Okay. And the same way for this A1 minus A2 divided by the summation, basically. Okay. See the same point. He mentioned the formulas, but these formulas are more complicated. As ICMA is giving there, I am not going against ICA. It is because our God. We should not go against our God at all. So basically, so formula and all will not make you to make errors and all. That is the reason they mention it. Let us follow it. For a simple strategy, what I said, clear now? For example, for this 2, what is the way of mentioning difference? 1 I'm writing here, and for this difference 4 I'm writing here. And differences 1 4 difference 3 I'm writing here, and 2 8 difference I'm writing here. If that part is done, probability basic part is done. Now how to calculate the probability for this? For example, 4 by 1 plus 4, these two summation by individual values, and here 1 by 1 plus 4. That is the way of calculating probability. The same way we calculate the probabilities for a column parts also. That is 6 by 6 plus 3 and 3 by 6 plus 3. That is the way of calculation. Okay. If it is clear, we shall go to the next one. Next problem. This problem is done. This problem is done now. See, the probability is mentioned there, and they also calculate the value. So how we got the value? The value is clear now. I said now 1 into this one, 4 into this one. The summation is nothing but the probability. Am I clear? So now this part is done. Then what is last part, summary, ma? And one more thing, ma, the probability of all the strategies should be definitely equal to 1. That's the basic point. You need not mention that one. At the end of the summary, value calculation, value presentation is important, and probabilities presentation is important. How to mention the probabilities? You can mention the probabilities as A1, comma A2, and P of B1, comma P of B2. What are the probabilities, ma? 1 by 3, comma 2 by 3. And in this case 1 by 2, comma 1 by 2. And sum of these probabilities will be always equal to 1. That is known to you. Clear? So this is a value. So this is not required basically, and this should be mentioned at the end after value calculation. Sir, once probabilities are done, and one more thing, whether you multiply this, whether you multiply with this and this sum, or else whether you multiply with this and this sum, the same answer will be C. You need not confuse at all. The value will get the same value. Okay. So let us see some. Okay. And next, sir, what is rule of dominance, sir? Sir, rule of dominance is very, very important. From the past 2 attempts, you got the same topic for exam. Okay. Sir, I'm dominating person, then automatically other guy will get dominated by me, and he will never have a thought to win at all, basically. I'm expecting to win, and my strategies are such a way that whatever the strategy of player, I will definitely win. That's the point. Okay. See that point, no? they dominate the opponent players in all conditions, so other components are ignored, other opponents are ignored. Okay, now what is the gainer's view? The strategy gives more gain than another strategy for all strategies of losers. That strategy dominates the and second one all whatever strategies of the loser. What about loser point of view, ma'am? A strategy involves lesser loss. He is choosing for a strategy which reduces loss basically. So anyway, I'm getting loss, so I want to make a strategy that my loss will be minimal. Am I clear, ma'am? Now, and the thing is that the strategy involves lesser loss than other all conditions. The second one will be ineffective rows and columns can be deleted from the given payoff matrix so that the size is reduced. And basically, sir, in the case of dominance rule, when we apply dominance rule, when the matrix is more than 2 by 2, then we try to bring the matrix into 2 by 2 format and then automatically apply the odds method. That's common. Odds method application is common everywhere, but thing is that while you are going with the dominance rule, try to eliminate the unnecessary rows and unnecessary columns so that always bring the matrix into 2 by 2 matrix. If you are bringing the matrix into 2 by 2 and all, it will be good for you. Most effective one. Okay. Now, what are the rules of dominance? These 2 points are most important rules. What are these 2 important rules, sir? If all the elements of a row less than or equal to another row elements, then cancel this row, sir. Okay. We'll never choose the row. So automatically we'll cancel that one. What about the columns? If all the elements of a column are greater than or equal to another column elements, then what we should do, sir, basically, 1 second, I'll connect the charger. Sir, what are the rules of detecting ineffective rows and columns? In the case of dominance rule, this selection is most important. Sir, in the case of rows, what we should do, sir? We have to identify the row with the least values and that will be eliminated. Am I clear? Am I clear? Okay, fine. Then what about columns, sir? In the case of columns, we identify the elements having more value. Then automatically when my loss is more, will I opt that one? I will never know. Basically, that's the point. Am I clear? The maximizing player will never choose a row with the least values. And minimizing player, that is who are having a thought to minimize the loss, he will never go for a highest value. Highest rows will be, highest columns will be deleted. Let us go with this problem that will be very clear. See this part. Sir, whatever questions we are solving, they are from our ICMA book. Okay. Sir, this is a matrix given there. In the case of matrix and all, basically, the management of a company is negotiating with its union for a revision of hourly wages to its employees. The management deployed a consulting firm who has prepared a payoff matrix for the purpose of indicating additional hourly cost of the company. It is shown below that being the part of consulting firm, how to assist the management selecting the best strategy. So management is as of from a position to not to choose a strategy. So we being the consultants, we opt a better thing and we give the answer for them. What is the value of game? How is going to affect the company's cost basically? Okay. So now what we should do, sir? We have to mention this in the form of a table basically or matrix format. Okay. So if you go in this one, whatever question I mentioned, I have copied the same part. Okay. If you're going with this one, then it's a wrong. Why wrong, sir? Sir, normally what I mentioned, row parts will be always maximizing player point of view. Am I right? And column part will be always minimizing player point of view. That is minimizing losses. Here, management will never maximize the pay. They will try to reduce the pay. So this way of pattern is wrong. We have to change them and we have to arrange them properly. But if such information is not given, straight away you can take the matrix and you can solve the problem. Am I clear, ma? Is it clear? If it is clear, so this is wrong. I am rearranging that one so that you can get more clarity. Sir, who has the maximizing objective here? Management or union, ma? Management has the objective to minimize the pay now. So automatically they are minimizing player. And union wants to increase. Labor union wants to increase the pay for the laborers. So they are having maximizing objective. So now this is the most appropriate thing. So in the case of problem, if you are doing that and all, gone. Straight away by copying the matrix and all, if you are starting solving and all, it's gone. So be careful with this part. When you are solving the problem, represent the matrix by ensuring that the row part is for maximizing player and the column part is for minimizing player. As the management has the objective of minimizing pay, they should be mentioned in columns and union should be mentioned in rows. The same is mentioned here. Now, check the order of the matrix, sir. If it is 2 by 2 order and all, go with the basic parts. Okay. So that is check the saddle point, that is minimax. is equal to maximum. If it is fine, go with the odds method. But however, is it the point like that? No. What we should do, sir? We should try to eliminate the columns, eliminate the rows. That is the most important step now. So whatever 2 points which are written here now, these 2 points are most important points. Shall we? Yes, sir. Yes or no? So this is the matrix. How to eliminate, sir? This basically I will give the values and all. You follow that. Shall we? Sir, first your wish. You can check any two or any three. Compare them basically. So normally, what is the basic point of view of management? Management wants to pay less. And what about union? They want to get more. That's the basic part. And here, these are, sorry, is it visible? Oh, it's visible now. Let us reduce the intensity. That will be nice. Okay. So in the case of compare the values, let us compare u1 with any other value so that the rows, in the rows, normally union wants to eliminate the least pay. A row with the least pay should be eliminated. Okay. See, let us compare that. For example, we comparing union 1 with the, that is u2. It is high or like, this value is high, this value is less, no use. Okay. And regarding this, high, low, no use. And even this no use. So, but regarding by comparing u1 with u4, what is a better alternative? Sir, here 2.5 is more than minus 0.20, no? And even 2 is more than 1.4 is more, 3.3 is more. So which is the least one, ma'am? This is the least row. Will the union accept this space? No. So it should be eliminated. So or else simple thing, simple process. Try to identify the rows with the least values. Either all are least values or at some point they are equal. So if you see this one, minus 0.0 is less, 2 is less, this is less, and this is less. So eliminate this one. Sir, by eliminating that, now, sorry, what is this now? What happened? Extremely sorry. So by eliminating this, now the matrix order got changed. Is it 2 by 2? No. Sir, we should do somehow that we have reached the 2 by 2 order. Now we eliminate one part. Now let us check with the columns. If possible, you can also check with the rows also. But if it is done, then go with the columns, your wish. Now let us check columns. In the case of columns, management wants to eliminate the highest one. Because for management, what is their main target? They don't want to pay more. So they will try to reduce the highest pay part, highest pay column. Eliminate that. Okay. So for example, if you take this, with this, what is highest? Is it highest? Is it highest? Is it highest? All the three are highest. So let us eliminate this one. So by comparing M3 and M4, we are eliminating what? M4. Why to eliminate, sir? Let us see the properly. When compared to 1.4, 3 is highest. When compared to 1.2, 1.4 is highest. 1.5, 1. So eliminate that one. Let us eliminate that one. So eliminated. Now what is the order of matrix? 3 by 3. But sir, what is the basic target? We are having a target to reduce the order of matrix to 2 by 2. Now let us check once more the rows. In the case of rows, what is important? Least should be eliminated. Okay. In this case, it is least. No, it is more, not possible. It is least. It is more, not possible. It is more, not possible. It is highest. It is least, not possible. So let us go with the check of columns. In the case of columns, what is the point? Eliminate the highest one. Okay. So when compared to 1.4, 2.5 is highest. 1.2, 2.7 is highest. 1.5, 3.5 is. These all are highest. Na? Sir, management wants to pay more or less? Less. So eliminate that part. Or simply, in the case of columns, whatever left over there, identify a column with the highest values. Then eliminate that one. Sir, 1.4 highest. 1.2 highest. 1.5, that is 3.5 highest. Sir, why not this? Compare once. 1.4, okay, fine. 1.2, fine. 1.5, it's going wrong there. Never. We should identify at least if they are equal, fine. That's the basic part. Now, in this case, I am eliminating this column. Now, is the matrix order 2 by 2? No. Sir, until we are reaching 2 by 2 and all, we keep on doing it. Once it is reaching 2 by 2, then what is the step? The most important step is that once it is reaching 2 by 2, then we automatically see whether saddle point is reached or not. That is, try to go with a pure strategy. If it is fine, when it is fine, when mini max is equal to maxi min, then it is satisfied. If not, we apply odds method. Okay. Now in this case, what is the next chance to eliminate? We have to eliminate one row. So this is in the case of row. Basically, what are rows representing? Maximizing players. When they are maximizing players and all, they want to eliminate the least one. What is least? Sir, 2. When we compare with 2, sorry. When we compare with a 2, 0.8 is least. No, not a possible. When you compare with 2, it is least. When you compare with 1.4, it is least. So automatically we can eliminate this one. No? So let us eliminate that one. Now, is the order of the matrix 2 by 2? Yes, sir. Order of matrix is 2 by 2. It's very happiest moment. The same thing has been mentioned by me in the form of orders. So what is the point mentioned here, sir? So now I will explain step by step. You will listen carefully. So check the order of a matrix. Is it 2 by 2? Then apply the odds method. If not, apply the rule of dominance and convert it into 2 by 2. Finally, apply odds method. That's a basic form. Sir, here didn't mention the saddle point and all. Saddle point is common thing. If you calculate saddle point and if you are reaching mini max and maxi mini, then it's fine. Okay. Now, these are strategies. What are strategies? If all the elements of a row are less than or equal to the another row elements, when we are comparing two rows, and all, any row, if it is minimum, eliminate that. But in the case of our columns, if it is highest, eliminate that. Okay. Now, so this is a way of presenting. If it is done, next. Sir, I am repeating those things again and again. You need not repeat. You can solve everything in one step. So now, what are the values? What are the rows compared there? The rows are U1 and U4. When you are comparing U1 and U4, U1 compared with U4, as they are having least values, it is eliminated. Fine. Now, what about next thing? So we'll be now what we should do, sir? We can compare. If it is possible to compare rows again and again, you can compare. But if it is not possible, go with the column comparison. In the case of column comparison, what are they comparing? M3 and M4. These two are compared. And in these two, what is important in the case of columns? Eliminate the highest one. So this highest one, I'm eliminating this. Okay, done. And one more thing, sir, what is the point, sir? Minimization from management point of view. Maximization from whose point of view, labor union point of view. That is the most important aspect in this problem. Once it is done, is it 2 by 2 matrix? No. Then keep on going with the process until you reach the 2 by 2 matrix. Okay, now try to cancel the rows and columns by following the above mentioned was repeatedly. Okay. Now we are comparing M3 and M1. So this M3 and M1 are compared. In this, what is the highest one that will be eliminated? Am I clear, now? So this is eliminated. Superb. Totally restored. Now is it 2 by 2? No. It is, what is the order of there? 3 by 2. We have to get 2 by 2 matrix. Now again the process repeats. The process repeats until you have to solve that part. Now you are going with U1 and U2. U1 and U2 comparison. When you are going with U1 and U2 comparison, what is the to be eliminated? The thing is that they eliminate the least one because labor want to get more pay. When there is some sort of least pay and all, that is eliminated now. That's the point. So this is eliminated. Finally, we got a 2 by 2 matrix. This you need to mention them properly separately as a matrix there. So now at this point, what you should do, sir? Try to get the saddle point. If you reach the saddle point, your answer is done. But if you are not getting the saddle point, then apply the odds method. So let us solve this point here. So here, what is the basic in the case of pure strategy? Find the difference between the two values. Here, what is the difference between these two values? 0.6. And here, what is the difference? 0.7. Clear? And here, in the case of this M2 and M3, what is the difference? M2 and M3. So in the case of M2, what is the difference? That is 1.20. In the case of M3, what is the difference? 0.10. Am I clear? Now in this case, to find the saddle point of this value, find the maximum value. 0.70. And from these two values, find the minimum value. 0.10. Are they equal? They are not equal. So we are not reaching the saddle point. What we should do, sir? When we are not reaching the saddle point, we have to go with the odds method, basically. Okay. Sir, odds method is applied in every method, basically. That is important. Even we go with pure strategy calculation and odds method for every point. If you have reached our target at pure strategy, then it's fine. If you are not reaching, we go for what ma? Odds method. As this is what known as ma? Maxi min. And this is known as mini max. Are they equal? They are not equal. When they are not equal, we have to apply odds method. Am I clear? Now let us see the point. See. So is it equal? No, not equal. Then what are we going to? We have to go with the representation here. And now what we should do, sir? Odds method. How to do odds method, sir? I will give the point to you, then you can get clarity. Sir, in the case of odds method, first find the difference between these two values and mention here. Okay. And find the difference between these two values and mention here. Find the difference between the column part and mention the second column. Find the difference between these two and mention here. That is first column. Okay. Shall we? Okay. Here, what is the difference between these two? 0.6. I'm writing here. So, okay. And what is the difference between these two? What is the difference? What is the difference, ma? 1 second, buddies. One second, ma. Sorry, ma. One small error. I'm correcting here itself. When we are applying the pure strategy, what we should do, sir? Identify the least value. Okay. Identify the least value. So there is a mistake there. Identify the least value from this. What is the least value, ma? 1.4, sir. What is the least value from this, ma? 0.8, sir. Clear? Next. From these two value, what is the least value, ma? Highest. In the case of a column, take highest. 2.0. From this, what is the highest, ma? 1.50. Okay. From these two, what is the maximum value? 1.4, sir. From these two, what is the minimum value, sir? 1.5. Even then, the saddle point is not reached. Okay. So the basic thing is it clear now? That I mentioned wrong. So correct that point. Even here, while I'm solving, this point should be corrected now. Let us correct here itself. Then it will be very fine. So difference not required. What is the point required, ma? We require to find the minimum value. That is 1.40. And here 0.80. Of these two, what is the highest, ma? That is 1.40. And here, in the case of columns, what is the M2 column? In the case of M2 column, what is the highest or least? Highest. That is 2.00. In the case of M3, what is the highest? 1.50. From this, take minimum value. What is the minimum value, sir? 1.50. Are they equal? This is known as what, ma? Maximin. From the minimum values, we have taken the maximum value. And here, from the maximum values, we have taken the minimum value. Is it clear? So, odds method. The case of odds method, it is just 0.6, not required. No, I said I will solve that part now. Let us solve that part once. So, in the case of odds method, now as the saddle point is not reached, we have to go with the odds method. So, how to do odds method? So, in the case of odds method, basically, what we should do, sir, we have to find the difference between the row 1 and mention in the row 2 part. Shall we? Yes, sir. So, what is the difference between these two values, ma? 0.6, that is mentioned here. What is the difference between these two values, ma? 0.7, it is mentioned here. And what is the difference between these two values? These two values, that is 1.2, it is mentioned here. What is the difference between these two values, ma? 0.10 mentioned here. Now we are done with the first basic step, because that is a basic step for the calculation of probability. Once it is done, how to calculate the probability part, sir? Just simply 0.7 by 0.7 plus 0.6. That is the probability for U1. And how to calculate the probability for U3, sir? 0.6 by the summation of these two. That is 0.7 plus 0.6. Now, how to calculate the probability for M2, ma? M2 is very easy, sir. Just 0.10 by 0.10 plus 1.20. The same way, 1.20 by 0.10 plus 1.20. That's the probability part. Once the probability is done, just multiply this value with this plus this value with this. You get the value of the game. Am I clear, ma? Value of the game is very, very easy once you calculate the probability part. If that is done, let us go with step by steps. Then you can get a more clarity. Shall we? Shall we? See, sir, what is the point there? They are calculating the difference between these two values and mentioned there. Fine. And next, the difference between these two and mentioned here. Superb. And the difference between these two are mentioned here. Superb, sir. Again, the difference between these two are mentioned. Now, what is the probability? Simply, I've calculated that one. Now, same probabilities are calculated here. Okay. So now probabilities for U1 and U3 are done. What about the probability for U2, sir? It's 0. The same way, sir, for M2 and M3 have done. What is the probability for regarding the other M1? It's a 0. Why 0, sir? If you see the sum of all the M1, M2, M3, it should be equal to 1. No? By adding this itself, you will get 1. So automatically, other probability will be 0. Chances for other strategy will be 0. Am I clear? If it is done, what is the point here, ma? So we calculate the probabilities we mentioned here. Now, just what is the value of the game, ma? This value into this plus this value into this. That will be the value of the game. So value of the game is done. And the probabilities of this all I said na, as they are equal to 0. 1 second, my screen got stuck. Shall we? Sir, in this case, we are done with the value now. Sir, till here it is done. We calculate the probabilities, or the 4 probabilities are calculated. Then we are calculating what ma value of the game. How to calculate the value of them, sir? Once the values of probabilities are done, just multiply. You can multiply this part with this plus this part with this, or else you can also multiply with this and this. You will get the same value for sure, or even this value with this plus this value with this, or else this value with this value with this, and you get a summation. Is it clear? If you are having any doubt in this regarding this concept, and if you are a first time viewer of this class or like game theory, just pause the video, just solve by yourself, you can get more clarity. Am I clear now? This is a problem. And now let us go to the other one. So, and also at the end, it is a basic requirement. You have to mention the probabilities. So the probabilities for all the values, U1, U2, U3, 4 are the values. Why, sir? Why to take zeros and all? The sum of the total values of probabilities will be equal to 1. No? If you add this, you will get 1, basically. So remaining and all, we get only zeros. Let us go to the next problem. Sir, solve the game using dominance theory, dominance principle. So basically, when we apply dominance principle, straight away he mentioned. But basically, when it is 2 by 2 matrix, we go with the odds method. But if it is more than 2 by 2 and all, basically, we go with the dominance rule. In the dominance rule, what is the basic step? We try to eliminate it. Eliminate the unnecessary rows and columns. Basically, then we get the 2 by 2 matrix. Then we go to the saddle point. If the saddle point is reached, then we go for what? Odds method. Am I clear? If I am clear, so pause the video and solve this problem once as we have done earlier. Before that, I'll explain the summary point so that how can you do. So basically, what are the rules? In the case of rows, when we are checking with the rows parts and all, identify the row with the least values and eliminate it. Okay. And in the case of columns, identify the column with the highest value and eliminate it. By eliminating it, you repeat the process until you reach 2 by 2 matrix. Once 2 by 2 matrix is reached, what you should do, sir? What you should do, sir? Then you go with the saddle point check. That is minimax is equal to maximum. If it is fine, super. Done there with the point. Then you will get value also. But if it is not satisfying, then go with the odds method. In the case of odds method, what are we doing? 2 by 2 matrix is most important thing. Once we reach there, then we go with the calculation of differences. Calculate the difference between the values and mention it in the next row. And columns, next column. The same way if we mention that, calculate probability. Once probability is done, you can get the value. Value is very easy. Am I clear? So solve this one and you get next. So it is a representation. If the values are not given like A1 and A2, 3, you can take them as A1, A2, 3. And always the motive of rows point of strategy is what? Maximizing gain. And what about columns? Minimizing the loss. Their main motive is to minimize the loss. Now, if you're done with the problem, let us cross check with myself so that you can get a clarity. So there's a matrix given there. In this case of matrix, what we should do, sir? By applying the rule of dominance, we eliminate one row and one column. So that it will be 2 by 2. Then we can check the saddle point. If the saddle point is reached, fine. If the saddle point is not reached there, then we apply the odds method. So now how to eliminate, sir? Basically, when it is given here, the basic rule, in the case of rows, what is the point, ma? Eliminate the least rows value. So if you see this one, compare with others. Is it least or more? Okay. Let us go with that point. Sir, I'm comparing this with this. If I compare, is it least? Yes, sir, it is least. Is it least? Yes, sir, it is least. Is it least? Yes, sir, it is least. Sir, how you got the exact that and all? You cross check, you can compare once. If you are not satisfied, go with the other row. If it is not satisfied, go with the other row. Make a comparison, better comparison. And here we should eliminate only one row and one column now. So I took the middle, that is A2. When I comparing A2 with the A3, it is all having the least values. So straight away I can eliminate it. Am I clear? If I'm eliminating that part, the next one is this. This is an AND matrix. So I eliminated and I mentioned in the normal line. Dark line is also fine, but you can cancel with a pen, basically in your exam. Okay. So I will also cancel. Is it clear now? Super. Now, what are left over, sir? We are left over with now we have to eliminate what part? Column part or row part? So already the number of rows got down to 2. Fine. Now we have to reduce the columns part. So when we are reducing the columns part and all, basically what we should do, sir, we have to compare. In the case of columns, they are minimizing the loss. So loss should be minimum. Highest value should be eliminated. Okay. So like in the case of comparison, if we compare this with this, any chance? No chance. Because fine, sir, 15 is more than 3. But what about this? There is a difference. So now what we should do, sir? In this case, compare with the other one. 2 by 5, 2 5 with the 15 6. Sir, is it more? Yes, it's more, sir. Is it more? Yes, it's more, sir. As it is more and all, basically, we can eliminate that column. Shall we? Eliminated. Now, what are we left over? We are left over with a 2 by 2 matrix. In the case of 2 by 2 matrix, what we should do, sir? We apply what, ma'am? We apply the first pure strategy. That is nothing but minimax is equal to or maximini. So this same thing has been mentioned here. I'm repeating again. These are the rules. You need not write the rules for your knowledge. Just I'm mentioning there. And here from here we apply the point there. So compare A2 and A3, eliminate A3. So they compared, they eliminated it. Okay. And next, is it 2 by 2 matrix? No. Then we have to go with repeat the process until we reach a 2 by 2 matrix. Now what are we comparing? We're comparing B1 and B2. By comparing B1 and B2, what is highest? B1 is highest. So eliminate it. Okay. Finally, we got this matrix. Now what we should do, sir? We have to check the first check the saddle point. If it is done, superb. If not, go with the Rhodes matrix. The matrix we got. From here, what we should do, sir? In the case of odds saddle point, what we should do, sir? Least number 2. From these 2, least number 5. From these 2, what is the highest number? 5, sir. That is maximum value among the minimum values. That is known as maximin. Am I clear? Now, sir, in this case, what we should do, sir? We should identify the highest number 5. What is the highest number? 7. Of these two values, find the least value. These are the maximum values. From the maximum values, I am finding minimum value. That is known as what? Minimax. Are they equal, sir? They are equal. So done with the solution. We reach the saddle point, and the strategy is nothing but what? 5. What is the 5 here? It is mentioned here. So A2, B2 is a strategy there, and the value of the game is 5. See, is it clear? It is mentioned here. See. So strategy is A2, B2, and it's a pure strategy, and the value of game is 5. That is done. We need not apply odds method again and again. Sorry, that is got stuck there. Stuck అయిపోతుంది 1 hour రీచ్ అయిన తర్వాత స్ట్రక్ అయిపోతుంది అలాంటివి తిడుతూ ఉంటాం. So what is the point here, sir? In this case, when we are done with this point, what we should do, sir? We have to write the sentence as minimax or maximin is equal to minimax. It is saddle point. And the strategy is A to B2, and the value. What are the value we are getting now? That with the value of the game. Is it done there? Now, let us go to the next problem. So this is the most important problem. So basically, he has given the bigger story and all. That story is also to read once. If you are reading once, it will be good for you. Basically, okay. Once it is done, mention this entire part into form of a matrix like this. But writing these values and all again and again will not be effective. So let us, for our convenience, take Milan 2 choice as a minimizing loss, and joy givers are in the light of maximizing gain, and it is represented with the letter. So B1, B2, B3, B4, and it is same A1, A2, A3. That's the point. Now these values are represented like this. Now it is very easy. As it is having more than 2 by 2 matrix, what is the basic part? We have to apply dominance rule, and we have to bring it to 2 by 2 matrix. Then go with the saddle point. If the saddle point is satisfied, then we are reaching the solution. If the saddle point is not done, then we have to go with what? Arts rule. See the point. Rule of dominance. Sir, what are they doing? First, basically, I will apply the entire point itself. Sir, what is the point? Sir, check the basically rows with the least values. Are the least values present? Sir, I am checking this part with this next one. Is it least? No. No use. Then what about next one? Compare this with the next one. Is it possible? No. It's also no use. Now check the column parts. Why? Because the row we are comparing, the row to be eliminated should be having least values. Here it is more. We are comparing this with this, it's more. And here it is more again. Here it is also more. Here it is also more. So better to eliminate that part now. That will be good effective thing. Okay. So let us see. But even that is not possible. Why? Because here at the end it is changing. No? That's not. Let us go with the columns first. So in the case of columns, let us compare with this 8, 14, 10, 12, 13, 13. At least if it is equal also fine. If it is more, it's very superb. So if we compare this all things, it is more, it is more, it is equal. As it is equal, it is no issues. So let us eliminate that part. Eliminated, fine. Now what is the order of matrix? 3 by 3. Let us make it some more time so that we reach a 2 by 2 order matrix. Now what we should do, sir? This is eliminated. Now in this case, let us go with the rows. If there is a possibility, we shall find. Sir, 8, 10. When you are going with 8 and 10. So what is the point of rows? Least value should be eliminated because joy givers want to maximize the gain. When they are maximizing the gain and all, the least value should be removed now. So it is a least value, fine. It is a least value, fine. It is a least value, fine. So we can eliminate or not, definitely we can eliminate that part. The least row, that is A1, is eliminated in this case. Done. Now what is the order of matrix? It is 2 by 3. Is it fine? No, we have to go with the 2 by 2. What is the process? Now what we can eliminate? Sir, we cannot eliminate the rows because it is reached to 2. But what about columns? Still there are 3. So we should try to eliminate that column, at least one column with highest values. If we compare that, you can get a clarity. So highest one, it is highest, sir, but it is least. Not well. Then go with the next part more. Cross check with the next one. In this case, is it possible? No, least. It is highest. Not at all possible. And in this case, 1 second more. See once more. Sir, here we are eliminating the columns and rows. So now let us eliminate process again, so that because there is issue with the power and all. So is the mic voice clear, Okay, clear. Now, sir, what is the basic rule, sir? We have to check the rows and columns, and so that eliminate the, in the case of rows, least value row should be eliminated. And in the case of columns, highest value column should be eliminated. So now let us check the parts. So in this case, basically, if we cross check, sir, let us check this with this. Is there a possibility, is it least? Is it having all the values least? Sir, it is least, fine. It is least, fine. It is least, fine. It is least, fine. So you can go with this also. So let us eliminate that one first. Done with elimination. Next, what is left over there, sir? Now it is a matrix. What is the matter of matrix? Is it 2 by 2? No, it is 2 by 3. So we have to eliminate the column part. So in the case of column parts, what is the option for us? See the points and compare. When this is done, basically, now, sir, columns, highest value column should be eliminated. Sir, which is the highest column? So when we compare, if we compare this, is it least? Highest? No. Is it highest? No. Is it highest? No. What about other things, in this case of this, these two comparisons? No. Let us compare these two things. If I compare these two, what is the highest, When we compare 10, 14 is highest, and if we compare 12, 13 is highest. So highest value part can be eliminated easily. This part is eliminated. Now in this case, what to do? We are left with 8, 10, 9, 11, 12, 14. So in this case, what is the possibility for us to eliminate? Anything can be eliminated. Can anything be eliminated or not? See there. Sir, in this case, highest value should be eliminated. But if you compare 8, 10 is highest. No, not possible. In this case, in these two chances, 8, 9 is highest, 13, 40 is highest. So we can eliminate that part. Let us eliminate that part now. So eliminate this part. Now is the matrix 2 by 2? Yes, fine. Now it is common thing. Elimination is important aspect. If once the elimination aspect is done, every step will be easy. Let us see that part more first. Sir, we compared A2 and A3, and we compared A2 and A3, we will make A2. That is clear. If it is done, is the order of matrix 2 by 2? No. So until then, we have to repeat the process now. So when we are repeating, so we have done. Now we are comparing B1 and B2, B3, 4. Sir, I compared stepwise. You can also compare directly if there is a possibility, you can eliminate. So eliminated there, two parts. Now left with 8, 10, 12, 13. Same now. Same. Now, sir, is this a 2 by 2 matrix? Yes. Sir, check the saddle point. How to say saddle point, ma? In the case of saddle point, what is the basic part, sir? Of these two values, write this. First thing is that write this entire part separately. So how to? This is a separate part. Now, what we should do, sir? Saddle point. What is saddle point, sir? Least value. How much? 8. Least value. How much? 12. In this case, highest value 13. In this case, highest value 12. Of these two, what is the highest value? 12. Of these two, what is the least value? 12. 12 equal to 12. We reach the saddle point. Okay, let us explain. It may be too fast and all. See the point. So of these two values, of these, for example, this is the values highest, the least, and this least. Of these two, highest. That is maximum. And here it is what ma? Here from these two values, what we have to identify? Take the highest value. From here, take the highest value. From them, least value. As it is reaching the saddle point, we reach the solution, and the value is 12, and the strategy is A3, B2. Okay. Same is mentioned here, saddle point A3, B2. That's fine. Clear? And here, so value is 12. Clear? Now, there is a next problem given there. Find the optimal strategies of the players for the game having playoff matrix. What is the value of the game? So simply he gave the matrix. This is the same thing. So this is a 2 by 2 matrix. No, it's not a 2 by 2 matrix. When it is not 2 by 2 matrix, when it is not 2 by 2 matrix, what we should do, sir? Basic step or important thing is that, sir, from these values, we have to eliminate either column and row. In this case, normally we have to eliminate two columns and one row. So by seeing these values, any chance for elimination, ma'am? Let us see step by step. Rule of dominance is mentioned that you need not write in exam. Sir, for our convenience, we have gone through like this. Now, what is a better way? Sir, identify a row with the least values. Is there any row with the least values, ma'am? Let us see. Least, no, different one. Next, is it least? No, is no least. It's there. Let us go with this comparison for a row value. This value compared with other rows. Is it highest or least? No, it's highest. It's highest. It's highest. But here it's gone. Okay. So it should be the least. All values should be least. So in this case, is it least? It's least, but it is more gone there. Let us go with the columns. So in the case of columns, highest value column should be eliminated. So is there any highest value column? By comparing B3 and B4, so this is the highest one now. Let us eliminate that body. Eliminated. Done. See, eliminated. Highest column body eliminated. Fine. Now what is the order of matrix? 3 by 3. So what is should be the order of the matrix? 2 by 2. So now what can be the possible elimination? Check. So in this case, any possibility of rows and all? No. Let us go with the column check on. So is there even we can cancel B2 also. Why? Because when we compare B3, sorry, when we compare B3 with the B2, sir, 7 is highest, 6 is highest, 2 is highest. So automatically we can eliminate that part now. So I'm eliminate that part. Now columns are brought to 2. What about rows? They should be minimized. So what is a better way to see the minimums? Column with the least value should be eliminated now. Sir, by comparing two columns, let us compare these two columns, this and this. Here it is less, here it is less. So eliminate that part. While we are eliminating, so it's done. So we are left with 5, 4, 7, 2, 7, 0. Okay, let us cross check now. So this two are eliminated. Fine, superb. Next, what is next step now? So here, done. So we are eliminated and we are left with 7. So exact answer. Good answer. Now what I have to do, sir? Once it is presented, go with the saddle point. If the saddle point is done, if saddle point check is done, superb. So how to get saddle point check, sir? The saddle point check is that basically From these, the least value 4. From these, least value is 0. From this, highest value is 7. From this, highest value is 4. Now once it is done, from these values we take the highest value 4, and from these value take the 4. 4 equal to 4, reach the saddle point. So the thing is that this is, and this is strategy. A2, B3 will be the strategy. Okay, value of the game will be 4. Same is mentioned. Is it 2 by 2 matrix? Yes, sir. Check the saddle point, and once the saddle point is reached, fine. If the saddle point is not reached, then apply the odds method. See what I have done there. See, the saddle point is reached now, because this is what maximum value from minimum, that is maximum, and this is minimax. Once they are equal and all, we reach the point. We clear? So as maximum is equal to minimax, we reach the strategy, and A to B3 is the strategy, and the value of game is 4. It's fine. Now let us go to the next one now. Solve the game. He gave a problem and asked to solve. As it is 2 by 2 matrix and all. First, what is the basic thing, as with the order? Let us go with the basic saddle point check. Saddle point check. What is saddle point check, sir? And in this case, what is the least value? 1. In this case, what is the least value? 3. In this case, highest value is 5. Okay. In this case, highest value is 4. Of these two, what is highest? 3. Of these two, what is 4? Minimax not equal to maximum. Then what we should do, sir? We have to go for odds method. The same thing is checked there. See what he has done now. That's not equal. We have to go to odd matrix. In the case of odd matrix, what we should do, sir? Difference between these two is written here, and difference between these two is written here. Difference between these two is written here, and difference between these two is written here. Now we have to calculate probabilities. That's the basic first part now. Sir, if it is done, it will be very good for you. Sir, here what is there? Is it visible, ma? Is it audible? Okay, if it is fine. So what I have done? Difference written here, difference written here, and difference between these two written here, and difference between these two written here. Okay, once the difference are written, is it easy to calculate the probability? That is nothing but 4 by 5, sorry, 1 by 5, 4 by 5, and 3 by 5, and 2 by 5. How to calculate the probability, sir? Formula is there, but thing is a simple thing. Just 1 by 1 plus 4. Okay, and here how the probability of 4 by 1 plus 4, and here 3 by 3 plus 2. These two values sum, and here 2 by 3 plus 2. That is the probabilities. Once the probabilities are done, what is the how to calculate value? Just multiply this probability with this. Multiply this probability with this. Then you get the value. Am I clear? Sir, am I clear, sir? Okay, see the answer here, probabilities are calculated, and value of the game is what, 17 by 5. But thing is that most important aspect we missed here it is. What is that point? We have to write the probabilities for all the values. So here probabilities were calculated, but in the case of other values, we have not calculated, and that you should calculate, my dear buddies. Am I clear? Am I clear, ma? Is it done? Next. So he straight away asked us to reduce the following game by dominance rule and solve it. He's asking us to reduce. So this is a easy method you can solve by yourself. But have a pause here. Pause the video here and try to solve this problem and compare your answer with my answer. So shall we compare your answer with my answer now? Sir, here basically rule of dominance is mentioned, and this matrix should be mentioned properly for your convenience. And now, sir, eliminating test and all, basically we can eliminate as per your wish. Thing is that, sir, what is the order of this matrix, basically? What is the order, Number of rows, 1, 2, 3, 4. Number of columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is 4 by 5 matrix. It should be reduced to 2 by 2 matrix. For that, what is the basic rule, In the rows, a row with all the values least value should be eliminated. In the column, with all the values having highest value should be eliminated. At least they can be equal sometimes. Okay. Now let us go step by step. Sir, here he gone with a check of what, rows 3 and 4. Rows 3 and 4, when you check those rows 3 and 4, basically least, and it's least. So totally you can cancel this one. Same thing is done here. Now, sir, in this case, now what is the order of the matrix, It is 3 by 5. But till it should reach to 2 by 2. What we should do, sir, again? In this point, we can either do one point, Sorry, the screen got stuck. Is it visible now? Sorry, ma. I'm extremely sorry because of the technical glitch. It is getting stopped here and there. So we have tested what, ma? We have tested these two rows. From this, we got this as a list. Every element is list now. So this value has all the least values. So we are eliminating this part. Same is mentioned here. Okay. Now what is it 2 by 2 matrix? No. So until it reaches 2 by 2 matrix, we keep on eliminating it. Okay. Next what, sir? Next of this, let us check any other row which has a least value. Is there any value least value more? Least, 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 but here it's gone. So go on there. Now, least, 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 least. Here it's gone. Let us go with the columns down. Columns. In the case of columns, what is the highest value? Sir, what is the highest value? 7 is highest. It's gone here. Goes next. This is highest. This is highest. This is gone here. No. This is highest. This is highest. This is highest. So when you compare Q and S, when you are comparing Q and S, you are getting better chance. Okay. So see that point now. 3, 7 is highest. 4, 5 is highest. 5, 6 is highest. Is there any other chance, ma? Let us go to P1s. 7 highest, 5 highest, equal. So we can eliminate this part basically. Okay. Let us eliminate that one, ma. Eliminated. Now what are left over, sir? Is what is the order of the matrix, ma? Now it is 3 by 4. Let us try for the rows elimination. Is there a possibility? Let us see first. Rows with the least values. Okay. Least one, least one. Oh, gone there. That's highest. And least one, least one, least one. Here gone. Oh. Can we eliminate any column, ma? See the column part can be eliminated or not? Highest, highest, at least gone. 1, it's highest. 4, it's highest. 6, no, gone there. Now any alternative? Any alternative, ma? 3, it's the highest. 4, it's highest. 6, it's super. We can eliminate that part. So it's a superb. When we get the answer, then it's fine. No? So now we eliminate that part. Now what are left over, ma? Now the order of the matrix is 3 by 3. Now let us go with the rows. Any chance for row elimination? Okay, row should be least value, no? So least value, and here it's also least value. So when compared with this row, is this number least ma? Least. When compared with the 5, is it least ma? Least. When compared with the 5, is it least ma? Least. So now we'll eliminate that part. So now that part is also eliminated there. Now what is the order of the matrix ma? 2 by 3. Now we have to eliminate a column. Okay. So what is the possibility of elimination? We should see basically. Now, in the case of column, highest value should be eliminated now. See. When compared to 3, is it highest? Highest. When compared to 6, it's a least. So gone there. When compared to 4, it is it highest, superb highest. When compared to 5, is it highest? As at least if it is equal, fine. So we can eliminate this part. Done. Now the order of the matrix is clear now. 3, 4, 6, 5. We reached the point. Once we reach the point and all, see the steps more, what I was solved there. So this is done. Is it done? Done. Superb. Next, that is done. That is also done. Okay, 5. Superb. Next, we have to go on with the other part now. So this is done. That is also done. With that part done. Next. Superb. Perfect answer. See the points more. These 2 points are done. Now, any other comparisons? You can hear we mention here. No. So let us see once more here. Till here it's done. Any cross check ma? First we have gone through this part. We eliminated this part. Is it clear? It's clear. Next, what about next one ma? We eliminated the same part. 2 parts are done. Okay. Next. That is done. What about this part ma? We eliminated that part. Done. Superb. Next. We eliminate that part also. Now from these values, we are left at this point. Now what is the lowest point? Column should be what my highest. Is that point done? Any column with that part? There we have done that part. No? That. 1 second. Okay. 3, 4. In this case, 3, 4, 1, 6, 5, 7. Here, what is the point, ma? Let us have a check process once. Here, is there a chance for highest values? When compared to 1, is it highest? Yes, highest. Not gone there. When compared to 4, is it highest? No. When compared to this, highest? Least. So it's gone. Here we have to apply a concept called average. What we should apply, sir? Here we have to apply a concept called average. See this problem once again, ma. What is the first basic thing we have done there, buddies? First we have compared what, ma? P, S and S. P compared with the S. Okay. Sorry. 1 second, ma. Here now. Row 3 and 4 we compared and eliminate least. What is the row 1, 3, 4? Element 4 is the least one that we eliminated. Let us erase this part once. The only issue is that, sir, when we are solving this point, there can be small error will make entire problem going wrong. Okay, sir. Here we eliminated that part. Now we are comparing P and S. What is the point, ma? P and S are compared. Of these, highest should be eliminated. What is the highest one, ma? These are highest parts. Eliminate S. Now S elimination is done. What about next part, sir? Sir, once let us compare with the rows is eliminating row 1 and row 3. In the case of row 1 and 3, sir, not it is mandated to go with the same process. You can go with the basic rules. If you are satisfying the rules, it's a fine. Okay, sir, 1 and 3. So 1 and 3 rows, is it minimum, minimum, minimum? It's minimum. So we can eliminate the row 1. Row 1 is eliminated. Super. Now what is the point, ma'am? Now we are comparing Q and T. By comparing Q and T, why to compare Q and T? Basically, see point there. So Q values 4 and 5, T values are more. So straight away we can eliminate this part. Fine. Superb. Now we are left over with this part. Now, is there any possibility for elimination? Rows are eliminated. What would eliminate, ma? Column should be eliminated. Is it possible to eliminate or not? Sir, 3, 6, highest but reverse. Gone. Next, 4, not at all satisfied. So 1, 4, superb, 7, gone. So at this point, we need to calculate something called average. Okay. Calculate the column average and compare with other part. If it is more, eliminate it. Okay. See, this is the basic rules here. Basic rules is this part. So we have written the matrix separately for our convenience. And we have to see this formula. What is that, sir? C1. What is this column? Column, 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 column. Do the average of these two things. Compare with that. If it is more, then eliminate it. Okay. And even the case of C2 also same. C2, if you are taking C2, compare with these two averages. Or else if you are taking C3, compare with these two averages. Okay. Am I clear? So now we are comparing with C1 with the average of that. So C1 is this. I have written there. Average 4 plus 1 by 2. That is 5 by 2, 2.5. It is more. Okay, fine. 5 plus 7 by 2. 5 plus 7 by 2. That is 13 by 2. What is that, ma? 13 by 2. 6.5. Sorry. Sorry. 12, 12, 12, 12. 5 plus 7. That is 12 by 2. Na? 6. As it is 6. At least if it is equal, fine. Okay. So automatically we are eliminating this part. P part is eliminated. Now we are left with only which matrix, ma? So P part is eliminated. We are left with this. In this problem, the average calculation is most important. Sir, we may be at this point, we are reaching at a tie point. At this point, what we should do, sir? Basically, at this tie point and all, we should be in a position to go with this step. What is the step, sir? Average. Average point, basically. Sir, average calculation is most important aspect. Sir, in the case of average, what are we doing, sir? C1. That is, this one is compared with the sum and average of these two. Sum and average of these two. And C2, this C2 is compared with the averages. Basically, columns, if it is highest, it will be eliminated. No? At least it can be equal sometimes. One is highest, another is least. There is no issue. One should be equal. Okay. Next. Sir, is it 2 by 2 matrix? Yes, sir. Then go with the what saddle point. Saddle point is clear now. What is the highest value? Sorry, what is the least value? Least value, least value, least value, least value, least value. 4. What about this, 5? Here, what is highest? Here, what is 7? Of this, what is highest? 5. Of this, what is the least? 5. 5 equal to 5, we reach the point. Okay. There is mini, maxi mini and mini max. What is strategy number? Q3. Okay. And the value of the game is 5. If it's clear, go with this problem. Sir, this problem is also similar to the problems which you need to do. The only most important aspect is that what is this point, sir? He's asking only one question. Entire problem is same. The only determine the optimal strategies and worth of such strategies. What is meant by cell entry with minus 80 in the payoff matrix? Sir, here is not having now. What is the value of this? Sir, when we are trying to gain and when we are going with the marketing strategy of printed leaflets and they are going to social media, we are having loss. It represents loss basically. That's nothing but that. Okay. So what is this represent? It is representing nothing but loss there. Okay. This is common. So we represent the matrix and after that we have the rule, and here this is represented here. Now here the most important aspect is that what ma we have to bring it down to 2 by 2. When we are trying to bring it to by 2 by 2, what is the main aspect ma? Either we have to eliminate column and row. Here it is 3 by 3 now, both should be eliminated. What should be eliminated? In the case of rows, least value 0, 15 minus 20. This is the least value now. Is it least value or not? So eliminate that one. Here that can be eliminated. So whether it can be eliminated, CMA least. It's a least. It's a least. So eliminate this. No issues. You can go with any pattern. Okay. Eliminate this part. Now what about next one? In the case of columns, highest value should be eliminated basically. So highest value. What is the highest value? This is highest because minus 18 and this is highest. Automatically we can eliminate which part now? Which B1 eliminated. Now it is 2 by 2 matrix. Is it clear? So let us see the steps what we have done there. So eliminated that part. And what is the other part now? So he eliminated the other part. Done with elimination. We are left with what now? Now what is that? We have to check the saddle point. When we check the saddle point and all, basically, what is the point there? What is the least value? Minus 8 is the least value. Am I clear? Sorry. Once we shall erase this part so that it will be good for your sharing material and all. So here, what is the least value of these values? Minus 8 is the least value. Then minus 8e is the least value. And here, 20 is the least value. That will be mentioned here now. Minus 80 and 20. Of this, highest order is 20. What about this 40 and 50? And this is least value. We are not reaching the saddle point. Check once here. So minus max mini 40, not reaching the saddle point. Then we have to go with what odds matrix. So when you are calculating the odds matrix and all, basically, what is the point there? Odds matrix. Difference between these two values written here. Sorry. Difference between these two values written here. What is the difference? 40 minus of minus 80. That is 120. That is important. And what about this is the difference point here. And what about these two? Difference is 20 mentioned here. What about these two difference? Minus 80 minus 50 or 50 minus of minus 80. That is 130. Mentioned here. So when the values are mentioned there, basically. And one more thing, here for example, the difference value, while you are writing the differences and all, ignore the sign. Ignore the sign. This is the most important aspect. Do not go with the signs. Just for the sake of calculation, give importance to signature and all. But for other things, do not give value. Do not give importance to the signs. Once it is done, it is easy to calculate probability. 30 by 150, and here 120 by 150. Once it is done, multiply the probability. That is the probability value here. It's so much more. 30 by 150, 120 by 150. This into this plus this into this. You get the value. Am I clear? Check it once. Probability summation there. Clear? And one more thing, when you are writing at the end the value of the game and all, basically what is most important, you have to mention the probabilities for all the values. Okay. Value of game is here. Same way we mention. And the probabilities for this also mentioned, because 0 parts. That is most important aspect. Okay. If it is done, let us go with the other problem. So this is a problem. This is most important problem. Sir, whatever content he mentioned here, that is should be converted into matrix. Normally he has not given any matrix for us. So first read the question and try to present in the form of matrix. If you are presenting in the form of matrix, your work is done basically. Okay. Shall we read the question now? Two competing firms, A and B, produce consumer goods of different kinds. Among the product, one is considered as their bread and butter in terms of revenue generated. Both the firms are very cautious about the market share for a particular product and keep on doing advertisement campaigns throughout the year to retain the existing customers and also to attract. This is a basic concept. What is the first point, If both the firms take the same strategy to counter each other, then their market share will be equal. So this is giving some information. Okay, we have to present this in the form of matrix. Okay, so how to present, sir? Sir, what are the strategies they are having? No marketing, medium marketing, and large marketing. These are the strategies now. So mention the form of table format, that is no marketing, medium marketing, large marketing. The same way, no marketing, medium marketing, large marketing. Once you are mentioning them, sir, what is he telling ma? If you are following the same strategy, the percentage is equal, that is 50-50. So this will be like this, 50, 50 and 50. And other values are given there. What is other values ma? Against firm A strategy, no marketing, it goes beyond marketing strategy, and A share. Against no marketing strategy, when it is going with a medium marketing, what is the values ma? The values are 40% and 28%. What about other ma? That is 70 percentage, it is given, and it is 45. 45. And in this last case, against the firm's A's large strategy, large marketing, what are the values? The values for no marketing, that is share is 75 percentage, and other is 47.5 percentage. If you convert this into this, then answer is done basically. There's a basic step there. If you've done that part, then answer is done basically. Okay. So there's a way of representing. So for our convenience, basically we are representing them. These are the keywords and all now. We are converting them into A1 and B2. Let us write that point as a no point. If I write that point, then fine. Next, basically we eliminate that part now. When we are eliminating, we are getting 2 by 2 matrix. How to eliminate now? Basically, when we are comparing with rows, what we should do? A row with the least value should be eliminated. So here, let us go with this comparison first. Here 75 least, highest gone there. Next 75, 50, 47.5 and 50. So this is the least one. We can eliminate this one basically. Okay. Is it clear ma? We can eliminate this part. Now any other chance for eliminating any other part ma? Once this is eliminated. What about other ma? We have to eliminate a column. Column highest value should be eliminated. This is highest and this is highest. So we can eliminate that part. This is elimination. Is it done? Save. Okay. And we are left with these values. Now we go to saddle point application. The most important point is that framing is important. How you are framing. If you are framing, it's fine. Okay. Now we go to saddle point checking and all. So saddle point checking, what is the basic rule? Minimax, maximini. Okay. So it is not satisfying. Then automatically apply with odds matrix. In the case of odds matrix, what we should do, sir? Difference between these values is written here, and difference between these two values is written here, and difference between these two values is written here, and difference between these two values is written here. Okay, once it is done, probability calculation is easy now. The probability for this will be 2.5 divided by 7.5, the sum of these two things, and 5 by 7.5. After that, just multiply with this and this to get the values. Clear? Am I clear, ma? Value of the game, that is the percentage also got. Next, what is this, sir? Sir, by using the above data itself, is asking us to do. What is this point here, sir? How should do, sir, basically? Okay, and he is giving that units. These are mentioned there. Now what we should do, sir? Basically, I'm explaining this one more. I'm not solving this because it is very, very easy. Sir, here he gave selling price, variable cost and all he gave. Selling price is 4, variable cost is 2.5. Basic cost sheet. Okay, marginal cost sheet. Sales minus variable cost is what my contribution. That is contribution here it is 1.5. Okay, and the units is 30,000 units. And the annual cost for medium advertisement, annual cost for large advertising. So these values are given there. Okay, so now if you calculate for each scenario what is the value, then of those options you go for better option. Am I clear with this part now? So first you read the question once. If you are done with reading one question, we shall solve this problem. So as it is the revision session and all, I'm not solving all the problems now. I'm giving the idea to you. And one more thing, I will share this entire file in the group and all. So you can, if you go through this file and all, it is perfect. Game theory is perfect. Okay. So maximum I'll try to cover in 2.5 hours or less than 2.5 hours. So listen carefully. So basically, whatever information we got there, we mentioned, and annual rates, annual sales values always given. Now, this is our matrix. What are these? What are these things? These values are percentages. So we are having the values of 30,000 units now. So by applying the percentages on that 30,000 units, what are the units sold we can get? Okay, just like this. Units sold we got. The 30,000 is the total value. Applying 50%, we got 15,000, and 40%, 12,000, and 28%, 8,400. We converted this percentages, or that is this part into units. Once units are done, Here, sir, normally at this point, no advertisement point. What is this point, ma? This point is no advertisement point. When there is no advertisement and all, we will not incur cost, basically. So at that point, except that point, other points, there is some sort of advertisement. When there is advertisement at other points, we get advertisement cost. Okay. Same, how we mentioned, ma. These are the parts. Now, what are they doing, ma? Into contribution per unit. We got the contribution for all the values. Okay, here it is no advertising now. So these are the values we got here. And what about this, sir? There is some sort of advertisement done there from A's point of view. So what is the asked question mark? He's asking regarding a form of A. A point of view, what is the point here? Sir, in the case of A point of view, there is no advertisement here. But in this case, there is advertisement. In this case also, there is advertisement. This cost 15,000 deducted. And finally, we get the values. So once we got the values and all, basically from A point of view, so when we are seeing the row parts, when we seeing the row parts, worst option is that minimum gain. I want this minimum worst value, and in this least value is this. In this least values is of these values, what is maximum value? 15,250. Okay, that will be the answer. Go for a what type of advertisement? Medium advertisement. Is it clear? Is it clear, ma? Next. So these are the theory parts, sir. These theory parts are very, very important. You go through these theory parts, you can expect a question from this part. Okay. So these player and all having a rational thought. So the player acts rationally and intelligently. So not only you are intelligent, other player is also intelligent. Each player has a finite set of strategies. Everyone has a finite, some limited number of strategies. Players attempt to is maximize gain and minimize losses. Fine. All relevant information is available to each player. Everyone has information. Players take individual decisions without direct communication. When I am fighting in a game and all, I will not ask what are the step you are taking. Yeah, I will take independent decisions. No? Players select their strategies simultaneously. Okay. Payoff is fixed and determined in advance. Basically, it is determined. Next. What are limitations? These are the limitations part. Go through these points and definitely you can get a good score from this area. Okay. If it is done, next solve the problem regarding this. They gave a problem. Sir, but however, I'm giving the information straight away. Sir, for this question, basically, if you apply rule of dominance, you will not get the answer. Okay. And even if you apply in the average part also, you will not get. So for this, we have to construct in the graph pattern. How to construct the graph and all, I will give the point. So first, till here, go through quick recall. Ma. Sir, what are the purest one? What is the first one? The pure strategy. In the case of pure strategy, we need to get values equalized. What are those values, ma? Maximin should be equal to minimax. How to calculate maximin, ma? From the row values, we take the least value of all that mentioned there. Of those least values, that is minimum values, we identify the maximum value. That is clear with that one, maximum. What about minimax? From the columns, identify the highest value and mention there. Okay, am I clear? Okay. Then of that values, identify the least value, that is from the maximum values I'm identifying the minimum value. If these two are equal, we are reaching saddle point. If we are not reaching, go with the mixed strategy. Mixed strategy, we are having 3 points. What is one more? Odds method, that is also known as arithmetic method, and also next one what more? Rule of dominance, and third one graph method. Sir, when we are applying odds method, okay, there can be a scenario that the order should be 2 by 2. That is the most important aspect. If the order is not 2 by 2, then we go with what ma? Rule of dominance, apply and eliminate the rows and columns, required rows and columns. Okay. While eliminating, what is the process? Rows having all the values, least value should be eliminated. At least there can be chance for one value is equal. No issues. It can be equal or at least. That's the point. And in the case of columns, what we should do, sir? We have to eliminate the column which is having highest values, basically. Then once the process is done, we get until we repeat the process until till we reach 2 by 2 matrix. Once 2 by 2 matrix is reached, we are done with the answer. Sir, nothing but what about odds method, sir? In the case of odds method, we need to calculate the probability. For that, what is the point, sir? Calculate the difference between the values and in a row and mention in second row, and calculate the difference for second row and mention in the first row side. That is rows. What about columns? And same way, columns, difference between them is mentioned in second row, and the difference in the second column mentioned in the first row. Is it clear, ma? From that, we calculate the probability part. Once the probability part is done, multiply them with the respective values and we get the value of the game. Is it clear? If it is clear, shall we go with the next part, ma? Sir, I'm not solving the rule of dominance and all. Basically, I knew that as even if he mentioned here, we cannot reach the point there, we cannot eliminate there. And even if you are applying the average part column compared with a other columns, and if it is greater, it can be eliminated, that also will not be satisfying here. So you check that once. Let us go to the straight away graph point. Sir, in the case of graph point, what are the basic things, ma? They will not provide a graph to you. You have to construct that one on by yourself. And it's the most important thing is that when we are applying the graph and all, the order of the matrix can be either m by 2. This is rows and these are columns, or 2 by n. This is rows and these are columns. The matrix will be in this layout. Then we have to go with the graph method. Sir, what we should do, sir? In this case of a problem, what is the mark? It is 2 by n. Okay, it is 2 by n. 2 by n. 2 rows and n columns. Here 3 columns. Okay. Basically, in this case, we have to plot the values on a graph that is constructed by us. What is the basic fundamental thing, ma? We go with the calculating the probabilities for a payoff. The probabilities can be 1, x minus 1 and x. The probabilities. Then, sir, here, what is the point, ma? Which one we should eliminate, ma? One column should be eliminated. Am I clear now? The column to be eliminated and all. So columns are represented with the letters B1, B2, sorry, B2 and B3. Am I right? Clear? Am I clear? Clear or not, ma? Okay. Now what we should do, sir, basically, column should be eliminated. Now in this case, what we should do, sir, the basic thing is that we plot the values, that is payoffs, how much of the payoffs we are getting, and x1 is equal to and 1x is equal to 1, basically. Multiply them with the probabilities. You get the point. So here, what is the value, ma? In the first part, that is 1. 1 into probability, that is x, plus 8. What is the other one, ma? This is first probability. Sorry. This is a first probability and this is a second probability. Now 1 into x. So here the values are there, na? Here the values. This is B1, B2 and B3. Okay. Is it clear, ma? It is, sorry, we are taking the probabilities, that is x and 1 minus x. Plus what, ma? What is the other value there, buddies? The other value is 8. Plus 8 into 1 minus x. Is it clear with this first part? Next, what is next part, sir? 3. 3 into x plus 6 into 1 minus x. And similarly, what is the point, ma? There. 12. 12 into x plus 2 into 1 minus x. Find the value of this, ma. So in the case I'm explaining clearly, ma. When the order is given in a different way, in this way, we have to eliminate which part, ma? We have to eliminate a column. Any one column should be eliminated so that it will become 2 by 2. So columns are represented with the letters B1, B2, B3. They are there because 3 columns. And we take the probabilities. The probability of payoffs of this matrix is x and x minus 1. Based on that assumption, we calculate that part. Okay, clear? If it is clear, we shall do it. So the values are clear. We are done with that part. Once that part is done, sir, what is the value of this one, ma? I will separate it. Now, what is the value, ma? It is 1x plus 8 minus 8x. That is 8 minus 7x. And here the values are mentioned like this. What are the values? 8 minus 7x, it is 8. It is 1. 8 minus 1. Next, what about this one? Here it is 3x minus 6x, and 6 minus 3x. Okay, and it is 0, it is 6. And what is the value here, ma? It is 3. What about this, 12x? This 1 minus x. 12x minus 2x, that is 10x. 10x minus 10x plus 2. Here, what is the value, ma? 2. And if it is 1, it is 12. These are the values. We got the values now. Now we have to plot them in the form of a graph. How to plot, sir? Just listen properly, ma. Sir, we are having 2 lines mentioned there. Okay. And we are taking some axis there. Here he has mentioned x equal to 0 and x equal to 1. 2 values are given. So here it is x equal to 0. Here x equal to 1. Basically. Now we plot the points. Whatever point we are getting, we plot them in the case of graph. So let us take some axis basically. 2, 4, 6, 8. Any negative value given there? No, no negative value. Not. 2, 4, 6, 8. Sir, x equal to 0 is plotted on this part, points, and x equal to 1 is being plotted in this point. Now 8, we will have to plot 8, 1. Sir, 8 point. What is 8 point there, ma? Here it is 8 point. Okay, and regarding 1, it is somewhere here. Okay, 1. Clear? Next, what about other case, ma? Next, 6, 3. 6. So let us join first to avoid the confusion. If you are joining, that's fine. Let us join the line with a straight line. Joined. Is it joined, ma? Yes, it's joined. But this point should be perfect. So draw the graph perfectly. If you're drawing the graph perfectly, it will be good for you. Okay. Very, very good for you. Next. Next, what is next line, sir? This line is represented with the letter basically B1. Okay. Now what is next one, ma? Next, what is next, sir? Next point. What is next point? In this case of next point, the point is 6, 3. 6 is here, fine, and the other point it is 3. 3 will be here. Now let us join that line with a different color. This is, or is it? No, slightly not. Join 6 and 3. We'll arrange them. Cool, don't worry. 6 and this is 3. These are the points. Are the points clear? Next, what is the other points left? Are 2, 12. So 2 is here. Sorry, 2 is here, and the other point is 12. 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. We have to go up. Okay. So let us increase this part. This is 10. This is 12. Am I clear, ma? Is it clear? Okay. Now this point is marked here. Now let us join with a blue color line to 12. So let us start intersect point here and here. Is it clear, ma? Is the diagram clear? If it is clear, what he asked us to find? Now in this case of this diagram, he asked in the question, what he asked, ma? We have to eliminate which part? Column part. Okay. And in the case of columns, when we are eliminating, we have to find what, ma? Minimax or maximini? Minimax or a maximini? Maximini now. So from this, let us complete maximini. From the minimum values, we have to find. So minimum values are given basically at this point. Minimum values are given at this point, basically. Okay. From this, what is the max one? There is any maximum point. There's a point now. I'm showing it properly now. Here it's a maximum value. These all are minimum values. From this value, we are having a maximum value. Okay. So that point of intersection, what lines are intersecting? Those two should be and other should be eliminated. What are those two lines, ma? Basically, the first one is B1 and it is 6 and 3 is B2 and this is B3 no? And this is B3. These two are intersecting. So which line should be eliminated? B1 should be eliminated. Which should be eliminated, but is B1 should be eliminated. And now by seeing this matrix, so we are having this one now. From this, what should be eliminated? B3. And B3 is eliminated. B3 or B1? The points clearly. Once you check the points, what are the points here? B1 is the first line, 8, 1 and 8, and B2 is the second one, B3 is okay. Plotted there. See the graph properly, ma? So I plotted B1, B2, B3. Now where they are entering? Oh, sorry, it's the B3 now. It's B3, B3. So here this line is intersecting which point, ma? B2 and B3. The line, sir, see properly, ma. This is the line, one line, and this is the second line. These two are line B2 and B3. Where they are intersecting, at this point they are intersecting. That's the maximum point. Okay, that point we marked. So that intersection point is covered by B2 and B3. So they should be and other points should be eliminated. I'm repeating again, ma. Sir, once we plot the points, when the points are done, what is required, ma? Here we should calculate, we should eliminate what body? The column part should be eliminated. Column part, that is nothing but maximum among the minimum values. Maximum among the minimum values basically. So minimum value will be lower. So we mentioned, sir, these are the minimum values we are having. These are the minimum values we are having. Of this, what is the maximum value? This point of intersection. Here, what are the lines intersecting there? Two lines. What are those two lines? B2 and B3. As they are intersecting, that point gives the most important information that these two lines should continue. That is B2 and B3 should continue, and we should eliminate B1. From this above diagram, we can eliminate what, ma? What is the B1? We can eliminate that part and we can go with the other parts. That is 3, 6, 12, 2. Okay. With this, we can continue. Okay. Here we can go with the saddle point check. Once the saddle point is done, answer is done. The saddle point is not done, then we shall go with what part, ma? Odds method. If these two parts are done, your answer is done. Perfect. Okay. And for your convenience, see the graph part, most important. Sir, graph part, basically, when see this point, no? He is giving extra columns, so we have to eliminate the column part basically. Okay, and the order of this matrix is 2 by n. 2 by n. Nth part should be eliminated. Okay, and here column should be eliminated. Column is represented with the letters b. So what should be eliminated? We have to calculate that part. And the probability taken is as x comma x minus 1. Okay, b1, b2, 3, b3. The probability will be equal to 0. No? That we are equating it. We found the values equation, and we have taken two limits. One x equal to 0, one x equal to 1. So basically graph and all, not our cup of coffee basically. Even then, as it is exam oriented and all, I'm explaining to you. Okay, so graph paper will not be given by them at all. You have to solve it by yourself on the paper. Once you observe this one, you get a clarity. Okay, so what are we doing? Is it clear now? If it is clear, I will explain here. So this is no more neatly presented, it will taking more time. Okay, so basically, what is the order of the matrix now there? So sorry, the order of the matrix is m by 2 or 2 by n. Then we apply graphical method. But here the question given, the probability should be mentioned like this: x 1 minus x. So payoff matrix is this. X value is taken as two limits: x equal to 0, x equal to 1. Then we plotted the points there. As we need to what, find more elimination. In the case of columns, we need to eliminate b sub b part, b strategy. That is nothing but we take minimum among maximum. That is known as what, ma? Maximin. Maximin. Okay, so we plotted that one, and these odds and all this known to you, that is common to you. Now, so solve this problem. It is quite opposite to that. So here, what is the order, ma? The order is m by 2. Right? M stands for what, ma? Rows. N stands for what, columns. So it is m by 2. So in this case, quite opposite. We take a values and we find what, ma? Minimax. From the maximum values, we have to find the minimum values. Quite opposite. Okay, just you try it once. Anyway, the answer is solved in the middle, which I shared, that you can see and you can get the answer. Is it done, ma? So game theory is most important, sir. You can get the score easily. And to solve a problem in a game theory, maximum you can take 5 to 10 minutes if you're doing it perfectly. Now and then, while we are solving, I took some other numbers. So that is the most important thing. Do not get hurry here. In the case of game theory. Game theory is very, very important and easy way to do so. You can go through this one. If you're having doubts, you can ask. Thank you, ma. Signing out, and all the best for your exams. And still, some topics being asked by you guys, I'll upload them. Do not worry. It's my responsibility. I'll definitely complete.